And I believe you've got somewhere there's a script, a rewrite of the 12 steps for IFS using a blend of the two languages. You've blended the two languages, right?
Yeah, High Watch did that during our IFS. I think it was our level one or our level two, but Cece is working on something where she's really expanding that into like a teaching, right, Cece?
Yeah, I don't really want to rewrite the 12 steps, right? Not really.
Yeah.
I don't think that's appropriate. But I think to think about what is our interpretation of what is happening, how can both the client and a therapist or a family, how can other people understand what's happening, in the first step, what's really happening, and and how does that help a clinician know how to help their client, and how does it help the client know what's happening within themselves? So sort of like um, our managers admitted they were powerless over what our firefighters were doing, right? And there's self in that because when our managers unblend, then we do feel that sense of self, that sense of being not, it could be a bottom of despair, but it could be a bottom of reality, of realization of I'm here now. And for instance, so thinking about what's really happening there from a clinical perspective is, I think, but using IFS language, I think can be really helpful. So we'll let you know how that keeps going. We're working on it.
Oh, I'd love to know more about that.
Yeah,
And
it's very cool.
yeah, I mean, that's another word that people get caught up in, powerless. They say, "Oh, I couldn't go to a program whether you got to say you're powerless over everything." That's the last thing I've ever I never got that. I must have missed that class because all I saw was the entire premise of the 12 steps is about finding power,
Right, right,
you
right,
know,
right.
and being empowered, and that's the way it was. I think it's where you get sober, right? Maybe it's the meetings you go to. I got sober in San Francisco back in 1989, and at that time, we had such a diversity of meetings and really interesting take on the program. So I think I was schooled in a good way to see that it's all about finding power, finding, and even in the book it describes where is the power to be found deep down within.
But when we're in a battlefield, when we're polarized between using and trying to control ourselves, that polarity makes us powerless. That's a powerless struggle. No
There
one's
you
going to
go.
win. No one's going to win.
Yeah,
So we give up the battle, right? And then we find our power.
there you go. So it's lose to win.